incredibly fun, not sustainable. So now, by not sustainable, these teams, either one of them could absolutely make the playoffs. But for the
make the playoffs.
Yeah, they could make the playoffs.
They're making
the playoffs.
Sorry,
But are the Vikings going to be this both sides of the ball juggernaut? Of course not. Is all year long? Is Washington going to be able to continue to be an offense-only team when the offense is led by a rookie 190-pound quarterback? Probably not. But they are incredibly fun right now, what Minnesota's doing defensively and what Justin Jefferson does and what Washington's doing week after week on offense. Not long-term sustainable, but fun. Relying.
All right. So, I'm going to attack this, Minnesota Viking fans, but we're going to fast forward because Greg Jennings has Minnesota Vikings fans back, the unsung hero. So let's jump to what Greg Jennings has to say.
Thank you, Greg.
With the Vikings, man.
I moved him up.
Come on.
How many times are we going to do this?
They got Saleh fired?
This is
How many times?
This is a 5-0 team.
That's good.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
This is a 5-0 team.
That was nice.
Who all they do is win. If you look at the teams that they've played, they beat the 49ers.
Yep.
They beat the Packers, who they are not ahead of. They beat the Texans, who they are not ahead of.
Correct.
They have Detroit coming up at the bye. We'll see if you end up switching them in and they are worthy enough. But how many times do I have to do this? Can we please put up the full screen?
Here we go.
Of their defense. Like they're for real. When you talk about they're fun but not sustainable, this is sustainable.
The defense.
This is very much so sustainable. And then you talk about like quarterback play. This is pumpkin watch this, pumpkin watch that. But their pumpkin watch guy is actually not turned into a pumpkin, but yours may be on the most pumpkin watch that we've seen of his career. I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes isn't the greatest. I'm not.
You said that 2 weeks ago, which is why you're on the board. And you said Josh Allen's better than him.
I'm just looking at the numbers, and I'm trying to figure out why Sam Darnold is getting all this hate from you. And his team can't even move up the tiers because of him.
Okay.
They're a 5-0 team, and this is what they do offensively. They're first scoring 23 or more points. Defensively, they're first allowing 17 or fewer points. I mean, what more can this team do?
So listen,
what can they do?
They have been excellent. But as the committee doesn't like to be like the facile power rankings, where it's just if you take a snapshot of I'll just say it, the herd hierarchy from week 3, you're going to be like, oh my God, like what happened to those teams? Hey, look at USA Today, week 15 of last year. It's mortifying for all involved. We like these to be able to have real staying power. That's first of all. Second of all, I don't know if we can put up the Darnold Mahomes side by side again. But Greg, what you don't understand is this is the exact reason for the skepticism. Because you're right, Greg. These two teams do have the same record. And one is, despite their quarterback playing far and away the worst football of his career, and the other one is because, in part, of the quarterback playing far and away the best football of his career.
So penalize him.
Not penalize him. But try to be a little forward-thinking. Say, do we think in 4 weeks, in 5 weeks, in 6 weeks, these things are going to look like that? Or do we think when they flip a bit, one team's going to go even higher and one team's going to struggle a bit? That's all we already saw. It's not like Darnold's played great throughout. We just saw him in London.
I'm going to say this last thing because I've been on your side with this whole Purdy thing.
Yeah.
We saw this all last year with Purdy. We saw it the year before with Purdy. It didn't matter what he did. Didn't matter how great he played.
Okay,
he could never move all the way up.
It's not Mahomes around. The Niners moved up all the time.
Do you have it? Do you have it?
No.
Like he's moving it. He's moving them. Sam.
Guys.
All right, my turn.
No. All right. So there's a few things that I want to point out about this. One, you see Greg Jennings compare Mahomes to Sam Darnold. Every time I bring up a comparison and I bring up Mahomes and Purdy or Mahomes and whoever, people say, that's so dumb to bring it up. To say that they're the same is absurd. And it's like, a comparison doesn't mean that they're equal. And now you literally have Greg Jennings do it. The fact that so many people fail to understand that concept is just absurd. right? Like it's like, do you guys really think a pizza pie is as big as the sky? Do you really think that, right? Is that what you all think? Like, so I'm so happy that Greg showed this graphic, because it's okay to bring it up. It's okay to do that, right? Like, so, but yes, back to Minnesota Vikings. This whole idea that what they're doing is unsustainable is just, oh my God, it's just disrespectful. They might make the playoffs, right? Like, it's just absurd at this point. It is. I mean, it really, really, really is. This idea that the Minnesota Vikings are just nothing, just fool's gold. That they have a literal pumpkin, right? That they have a scarecrow at quarterback, right? Like, it's just so crazy. It really, really is. I mean, especially when you're looking at this and those numbers, those things that are happening right there, it's not because Sam Darnold is just like suddenly hot. It's because of the team. It's because of the offense. It's because of the execution. It's because of the great defense. If Sam Darnold was winning shootout after shootout after shootout, right, and he was just slinging it down the field, and they were just kind of getting lucky with some like tip passes that then like some other wide receiver not named Jefferson is just catching it, right? Like, and they were just doing short little dump off passes, like the Chiefs, and or they had a big massive running back that was really taking the big burden of the offense. Then I could understand. I would be like, well, how sustainable is this? Sam Darnold's playing pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. And if Sam Darnold played on other great teams with other great coaches and just simply failed, he just did not look good, right? He played for McVay and Shanahan as like an extended starter and just was not good. He just, he always fumbled the bag. Then I would say, yeah, why should we imagine that he's going to be good? But no, that's not what's happened, okay? His pumpkin watch is because what he did with Carolina and New York, playing for coaches who are no longer head coaches in the NFL, okay? So it just makes zero sense to just keep assuming that Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings are just going to pop. It just makes no sense. Zero. When dating back to all the way of last year, Patrick Mahomes' numbers are actually just going, that is the trend now. That is an undeniable trend. Do I think it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse? No, because I also think that you have the GOAT Andy Reid. But I mean, it's just crazy. Honestly, I mean, it really, really is crazy. This obsession now with just downplaying any other positive team, any other positive quarterback, and just sweeping everything else under the rug, especially any of the issues that the Kansas City Chiefs have. And again, I'm not here to say that the Kansas City Chiefs deserve to be below the Minnesota Vikings or anything like that, because I believe in the Minnesota Vikings or the Kansas City Chiefs coaching more than anything, quite frankly, just because of what they have. And I do believe in Patrick Mahomes, especially come time playoffs. But this is not who do we think is going to win the Super Bowl, right? That's not how this is going. This is who are the rankings. It even says the tiers for week 6, not who do I think is going to be the best team in February. That's not what this is. So to deny the Minnesota Vikings, to put, let's see if now we can get all of this, to put, right, the Bills, the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, and the Ravens and the Chiefs all ahead. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're either at best 7th or 8th best team in the NFL. And again, he says they might make the playoffs. They might make the playoffs, right? Incredibly fun, not sustainable. And if something's not sustainable, that means it will ultimately fail. And it's just crazy. And again, as Greg highlighted already, everything that they're doing, and it's not like it's one thing if they just played they played the injured Rams, and they played the Panthers, and the Browns. They played all these teams that you're just like, yeah, man, you're just bottom feeding right now. You're taking advantage of bad teams right now, injured teams. Yeah, you played the so-and-so, but their starting quarterback got injured in the second quarter, right? Then I could understand. I could truly, truly, truly understand. That is not the case. When in reality, right, what have the Chiefs done? Let's look at the whole rankings here. Boom, there we go. Let's see. The Chiefs beat the Saints, who he thinks are absolute trash. He's pretty much said that. He said they're awful. Played the Chargers, who were injured, had a suspended player and an injured quarterback in Justin Herbert, okay? Beat the Falcons, who he also doesn't really think that good of a team. They also have their injury concerns as well. And then who else did they beat? I can't even remember all of this off the top of my head. It's just again, the Vikings have beat higher quality teams than the Chiefs, right? The best team that the Chiefs beat were the Ravens. And honestly, the Ravens really didn't catch their stride until week 3. I mean, that same Ravens team lost to the Raiders. So they were obviously not playing their best ball, quite frankly. It wasn't until week 3 that they kind of started to be like, okay, we got to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. We now know how to play football, right? Like, those things actually matter. And the Chiefs beat the Bengals, but the Bengals were not fully healthy. They were decimated on defense as per usual, and they didn't even have T. Higgins as well, and that still came to a last minute, right, pass interference call. So, yeah, this idea that they're 5-0, but they're undefeated and unbothered, and the Minnesota Vikings are incredibly fun, not sustainable, just crazy. Just the blatant disrespect for the Minnesota Vikings. And it's funny because I know I'm going to post this video and a lot of people are going to say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a clown, I'm this, I'm that. And to compare Mahomes to Sam Darnold is insane. And it's just so funny because Greg did it, man. Everything that I just said, Greg has already said. So when you want to say that I don't know what I'm talking about, what do I know, this, that, I never played in the NFL yet. Well, here we have Greg Jennings saying it. So he already said it for me. So, yeah, just madness. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Minnesota Vikings being incredibly fun but not sustainable? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.